Good morning. It is 11:10. Excuse me, 11:10 on the East Coast. I'm Dave Logan. You're not Boogie with the Bull. Saturday, Uncensored. We're live on the Dave Logan profile with a live chat. We're live on the Boogie with the Bull page with a live chat. We are live on the Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk group with a live chat. We're live on YouTube, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel with a live chat. We're live on Twitter if you follow at BoogieWT the Boogie with the Bull Twitter profile. You don't have a live chat there, but you can watch it there. Also on the Boogie with the Bull page, you can watch it. You can buy stars and be in the conversation, or you can just be in the conversation anyway. And your view always gets brought up. Had a really bad dream last night in this whole selling stars things and getting it all set up. It got to the point where it is now that I have to give Facebook banking information on where I want them to deposit the money from any stars that are sold. And the option that came up in this dream is not available, but it was getting a debit card from Facebook, sort of like a central bank digital currency card, where Facebook would deposit all of the money from selling stars, and I'd get it that way. Then the problem became I was selling tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stars. Something like $880,000 in stars in the course of I don't know how many broadcasts, and the money was just in there sitting. And one by one, every time Facebook took action from me, they would whack some of the $880,000 away until it became one day I owed Facebook $880,000 on top of the $880,000 they had taken from me. So sometimes dreams come true. Sometimes dreams are an indication of what not to do. And the only way we have with Boogie with the Bull broadcast right now is to sell stars on the Boogie with the Bull page if you watch the broadcast there. But, like I said, some of my thinking is, well, maybe you don't want to buy stars, to be honest with you. Maybe you don't want to buy stars because you don't want to support Facebook, or you don't want to support me on Facebook. So, to be honest with you, I would use the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and help us get to monetizing the broadcasts on YouTube maybe one day, until they probably boot me off of YouTube. I've been pretty lucky in the last month. They haven't booted me off of YouTube for anything that I've done, which means that the algorithms probably haven't caught anything that I've done wrong over there. And I know I keep threatening to get us on the Boogie with the Bull Rumble channel. And the beginning of May, we will get there. And it was not even worrying about any monetizing that we can do with Rumble. It was more getting a social media network where we can drop broadcast and not worry about them spanking us like Facebook does all the time, or YouTube does all the time. Because to be honest with you, it's not worth worrying about places that spank me. It's more putting the broadcast up, saying what I think I want to say, getting other people, if they're watching, to say what they want to say, react to what I'm saying, have a conversation, and just get things out in the open. Good morning to Joseph Rapper, who is watching, and I appreciate that. And if you're watching the broadcast, share the broadcast where you think it should be seen, and don't share it where it shouldn't be seen. Sorry, I was getting a little loud there. But share it where you think it should be seen. Don't share it where it shouldn't be seen. And either way, I hope people on Facebook see it. I hope people watch it on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And again, if you're on Twitter, generally 4, 5, 7 people seem to watch every Boogie with the Bull broadcast whenever it comes on. They're not into sharing it yet, but eventually they will. I personally think that anything over 15 minutes is too long on Twitter. So we have to do a lot of work before we land on Twitter. I told you about stars. It is the 10th anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing, one of the saddest days in America's history. A lot of people were injured, died, injured severely, still dealing with those injuries. And, just a crazy kid who might have been radicalized by his brother, who was radicalized. And I don't know, but, he made sure his brother was dead. The police were chasing him, and I believe that his brother had either passed out or was dead, threw him out of the car, backed up, ran over him, and then took off. Now I believe he's doing life in prison in Terre Haute, Indiana, which is a federal penitentiary where the death sentence is eventually carried out. You don't really want to get me going on that because as far as I'm concerned, if you get a death sentence, you have a right to exhaust all of your appeals and maybe get it converted to life in prison. But when you look at the crime and the reason why you're in prison for life and the reason why you got a death sentence, at some point, it really should be carried out. And the only reason I say that is because the United States taxpayers are supporting you in prison. And if you were supposed to get a death sentence and you exhausted all of that, really, that's where you should be. A lot of innocent people were maimed. A lot of innocent people were killed 10 years ago at the Boston Marathon. And, that's why you should have gotten a death sentence. Do I think the death sentence overall is a viable option? Yeah, only because if it's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that you're not remorseful, you don't show any signs of being rehabilitated to where you can live in prison for life, or maybe even show that you've been rehabilitated and become a productive member of society again. Yeah. But does it stop anybody from committing murder again? No. Just like the shooters, the mass shooters. I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that they go in and they do that. They do whatever they're going to do. And they either figure they're going to get shot by police because they're too afraid to swallow their guns themselves, or some do that because they're too afraid to end up in jail for the crime that they committed. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't stop anybody because next week there's another one. And it's, in some cases, worse than the last one. We spend so much time, and I've said in other Boogie with the Bull broadcasts, we spend so much time with the leftist, Democrat, whatever you want to call it, news media, doing analysis broadcasts from every single angle that pretty much, if you watch 2 or 3 of them for a week, there's the plan. You don't even have to make your own plan. They give you the plan. And in most cases, most of them are legal gun owners anyway. So if you think that gun owners should not have mental health issues, we're not doing anything to make sure even after a person got a gun that they're proving that they're not a crazy whack job just waiting for an opportunity to do their mission. Okay? I'm still a firm believer at 61 years old. Guns do not kill people. Let's say this is a gun. You can load it to the max with the highest magazine you can find. You can take it and you can go kill people. Say this is the trigger. Kill people. And it's not going to do anything. You can take it and push this down and pull this out and say kill people, and then it's an automatic firing weapon. And it didn't make itself automatic. It didn't pull the trigger. It didn't fire a single bullet. It fired bullets automatically because that's what it was designed to do, or that was what you modified it to do. But, you know, if you take a gun and you load it and you lay it down on the ground in front of you and you yell, fire, it's not capable of doing it unless maybe you modify it so that when it hears fire or thinks it hears the word fire, it starts shooting people. My point is, guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. But people with knives kill people. People with cars kill people. People who take drugs kill people. There is so much of our society that if you wanted to make sure people never killed any people again, taking guns away from citizens whose Constitution says you have a right to own a gun to protect yourself and your family all the time. And that came from God. So Republicans can't take it away from Democrats, and Democrats can't take it away from Republicans, and independents can't take it away from everybody. It's there. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in Congress, when you get elected for the first time, and maybe periodically after you've been elected for the first time, needs to take a test that shows they understand what the Constitution is, what it does, what's in it, what isn't in it, and how it is supposed to be enforced. Maybe in some areas they're going to knock on your door and they're going to ask for your guns. And maybe in some areas they're going to knock on your door and ask for your guns, and they're going to take your guns away from you because you decided to give your guns to them. But you know what? Think about it. The Bundys, the government came to take the Bundys' land with guns equal to or greater than what the Bundys had. And the Bundys protected their land and ended up in court. And Mr. Bundy got his land back, kept his land. So the Constitution says you have a right to own a gun to protect yourself and your family. What's yours is yours, not ours. So, you know, the only reason I can think, and I'm not a gun owner, primarily because I never thought I needed one, and my eyesight at times, or my coordination, eye-hand coordination, was never good enough in all 61 years that I thought it would be worth carrying a gun to protect myself. As a security guard, I carried one of these, and we taught security guards when I got into management, take this end off, take that end off, dump everything out, because if you hit somebody with it, when you get to court, that's what the judge is going to do. He's going to take this end off, that end off, spill everything out, and go, what is this? And the answer that he's looking for is a steel pipe. And if you killed the person, it's going to be manslaughter or murder. So, you know, my point is I digressed from the thing. I don't carry a gun because I'm more afraid that if I fired a gun, I would not hit the person that I was aiming to hit, number one. Number two, I don't think I could personally handle ever pulling a trigger and killing someone, even if it was justified. I know that if it wasn't justified, but I wasn't going to be charged with it, I wouldn't be able to, I couldn't handle it anyway. You know, I have friends that are police officers, that are sheriffs, that are whatever, paid executive escorts, all of that stuff. You know, those people know what they're doing, so let them take care of let them take care of the shooting of guns and protecting people. And give me a minute here. I have to plug this monitor in because it didn't charge right last night, and it's going to die pretty soon. Modern technology, as I always say on Boogie with the Bull broadcast, sometimes you have to grab it and make sure it's doing what you want it to do. So give me a second here. I got to turn this sideways. Delilah, the dogs aren't bothering you, okay? So then you're not going to end up out there, and in a minute, we're going to have to go off because people aren't paying to hear you bark. Anyway, bear with me one more time. There we go. In the Boogie with the Bull live chat, I see Aaron Henderson. I see Michael Walker. I see Denise. Starts with a Z. Unfortunately, it's not where I wanted. Denise Zalzman, who follows Soup Mama Official and was tagged in some posts that I shared from Soup Mama Official. I'm going to digress away from the gun thing and this and that and the other stuff. Tomorrow morning, Edie, either come over here and sit on the desk and speak in your mic, or understand the dogs aren't going to come in here and talk, and you're not going out there with them. Sorry about that. But Soup Mama Official, Charisse, will be in East Palestine, Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio, tomorrow, all day, doing what she does best, a distribution of supplies and anything else that she can get for people in East Palestine who are running low on critical supplies every day. The big thing is water, 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 and more water. Small bottles of water, big bottles of water, truck tankers full of water, if you can do that, because right now they're doing their best to continue living in their homes that have wells. And of course, the government is saying, no, your water's perfectly fine to drink. There's nothing wrong with it. But the test to have your well done, checked, is $250. That really doesn't matter. It's the fact that there are probably right now 250 years worth of people waiting on the list to get their wells tested. So they're doing the best that they can through the week, trying to get a hotel room on weekends so they have hopefully access to a washer and dryer that is not using contaminated water, and bathing facilities to keep themselves clean. And then they have to go back because there aren't enough hotel rooms in the East Palestine area to support everybody. And their governor, whose name I'm not going to mention, A, because I don't know, and B, that I really don't care his name, didn't declare it a national emergency area, so there's no help from FEMA. And this is the exact reason why, even if the governor didn't declare a state a national emergency, FEMA on its own should have been able to come in and say, hey, this is a national emergency, and it's our job to help the people of your state in a national emergency and do what they need to do. I don't care if they help by bringing in trailers that people can live in, or places where they can eat food that hasn't been contaminated, get water that hasn't been contaminated, do whatever they're supposed to be doing. And to me, this is not a red issue or a blue issue or a Scotch plaid issue or an independent issue. This is an American issue. And that's why I applaud Soup Mama, Charisse Moser, for all the effort that she makes to help the people of East Palestine, Ohio, as often as she can. They normally meet at the Nagel Fire Department, which I believe is the next city over from East Palestine. The fire department has this huge parking lot in front of it, and they allow the cars to line up. It's kind of drive-through. You come in, and once you're in the parking lot, I guess kind of drive through station to station to station, getting what has been donated until you leave and the next car comes up. And, it's great. You can go to the Soup Mama official page on Facebook and read all about what Charisse is doing. You can read about donations that she needs. If you are not in Pennsylvania, then arrangements can be made to pick things up wherever you are in a trucker's convoy that is committed to helping. And, or like I said, on the Soup Mama official page, you will see ways to make monetary donations that will get, again, what people need. Or you can say what you want it to be used for. If you are a business, there is a package that Charisse can send you because she is a 501c3 real organization committed to doing what she does. That is a package that she can send you that you can complete and send back to her. And whatever tax deductions are available to you, you will see. If you're just a regular schlub like me, your donations are tax deductible too. But I hope that you're not just making donations to amass a tax deduction. Anyway, I digress. So I hope you're watching on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. I would see if you were watching on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, as you would come up on my screen. People on Facebook, I tell you that the reason I don't see you on my screen most of the time is it looks like you have not gone to StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Scroll down about halfway. It says give permission. Click on that bar. It sometimes may take 30 seconds or a minute, and StreamYard will tell you you're good to go. That means that Facebook has given StreamYard permission so that your name and your profile picture on Facebook come up on the live producer screen. It has only worked right, I don't know, a couple of times in the history of Boogie with the Bull. That's why I have the monitor on my side on Facebook to make sure that I see your comments, because they are as important to me as anything that comes out of my mouth. And yes, we are looking at Rumble. We're looking at other places. Right now, from the YouTube channel, I podcast it to just about every social media network that I can think of that it should be on. So if you're someplace else, we're going to start sending it to MeWe more. We send it to Streetlock. We send it to American Patriot Social Network as often as we can from the YouTube channel. And so I hope that other people will go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to it and take it and share it wherever you want on social media, and help get it out, help get people on the broadcast. Because really what it was always designed to be, was a conversation between me and the people in the live chat, because I never knew or worried about in those days whether or not there would be other people on the broadcast with me, because it was really more of a conversation between you watching and me doing the broadcast. Because at that time, 3 years ago, I didn't want to do these live video watch me broadcasts. I wanted to do internet radio, but then decided to go this way instead. So you're the guests that I want on a broadcast more than anything else. You're the guests that I want to share the broadcast everywhere you think it can be shared on Facebook. And the only reason that I say that is because generally, once I hit 50 shares on Facebook, I have to watch it. I go much more than 50 shares in a live broadcast, I end up getting locked out of my account, and I got to jump through all those hoops, and that's just a pain in the rear end. really not worth it. So I appreciate anybody who shares it, and I appreciate where you share it from. If you're on Twitter, go to the @BoogieWTBull profile. Take them and share them all over Twitter. Take them and share them anywhere else. Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, take it and share it everywhere else. If you have to, take it from Facebook and share it someplace else. Okay, kind of violates my my belief, because when you take something from Facebook and you share it off of Facebook, Facebook still makes money off of it. And I give Facebook enough places where they can watch it, and they make all of the money from all of the ads that are on it if you watch it on Facebook Watch. So, and to me, not about making money anyway. It was more about just doing this and having a good time and getting people to come on. Good morning, Mr. Randy Rose, the genealogist to the stars here on Facebook. And by stars, I mean everyone on Facebook contracts his services, because you know that you're going to find out. Randy's going to tell you which stars that you're related to, or more importantly, Randy, when he does a star's genealogy, tells them all of the people on Facebook they're related to.
I only reveal information to the clients who give me permission to do so. But I have 3 clients now that I've been able to confirm that because of one of their ancestors, they are related to over 200 famous people, like General Lee, General Washington, President Washington, the Queen of England, and of course all her kiss and kin, movie stars, actors, authors. I've said before on other occasions that we're all related back to royalty, and I'm not sure why that is. I mean, I know kings can do whatever they want to have as many women they want.
Charles can't.
Oh, well.
But I think that that's going to change in the near future. It won't be tomorrow, but I think over time, Charles will do his best to become the rightful Speaker of the Parliament.
Yeah. Royalty is weird because back in the day, the kings and on the occasion the queens, they held the power to their nation, to their kingdom, and at some point, and maybe one of these days I'll delve into why, but they gave up their power to just be a figurehead. Now, I think Charles is going to change that. I think he's going to start kicking some ass here pretty soon, because it's just what I've been hearing about him.
He's going to make Camilla the queen.
Yeah, well, but yeah.
Because he probably promised her that before they got married.
Right, but because of his situation, she's only a female who's married to the king. And they have a consort. She's a consort.
Yeah.
And because
affair is what it should be.
But back in the day, they held the power. I mean, if you pissed them off, you looked weird at them, off goes your head or something, or you go to the stocks or you go to the tower. But nowadays, I mean, you're lucky. Whenever I see them out and about, you never see them surrounded by, Secret Service. When our leaders go out in the world, they have all their security guards everywhere.
Oh, they're probably there. We just probably don't.
Yeah, but they drive themselves in. The car is nice looking and so forth. But they drive themselves, in the car. Our presidents, aren't even allowed to do that much. But they have their parliament, and their parliament, is the power. And the kings and the queens right now are just the figureheads, and they're lucky enough to get their stipend every month because a lot of their castles are really, really old, and they need repair.
They
And
own. I mean, they're not making money. They're
no,
still
but
making money off the assets that they have, and I'm sure the portfolio that Charles inherited from Elizabeth is probably still worth a lot of money.
oh yeah, I mean they're not poor by any sense of the mean, but when they have to shut down parts of their castles because of repairs, because the parliament said no, we're not going to give you that money, but you live in the other 200 rooms of the castle or something like that, uh, and or they have to put their castle and their homes up for tourist attractions so they can bring in some money. And that's pretty sad, right? Um, but then they have all their crown jewels and they have their crowns and from what I understand, besides the stones being supposedly stolen and some of their thrones, some of their crowns, uh, I mean those stones are worth millions by millions of dollars uh, individually. But our president, okay, he gets to live in the White House, and his, the camp or like oh the camp where they go for their vacation, but and then they have their nice
And
house,
David,
yeah, Camp David. Um, but for all sorts of purposes,
Trump didn't use it
from what
much.
I
I don't
understand,
know.
they don't need to have to carry a wall around because wherever they want,
Yeah.
someone else pays for.
Yeah, but Trump didn't use Camp David very much. I think he
No,
preferred to use either Mar-a-Lago or other
the
Trump
place in New York,
properties. Yeah, Trump Tower.
and rightfully, I mean, he probably trusted them as far as not having any microphones or secret cameras, everywhere. But I mean, if you see pictures of his place, I mean, it's all I don't know if it's real gold, but it certainly looks like gold.
It's real. It's the real stuff.
So I mean, he obviously didn't hurt, and of course, the idiot
I
that's in the
wouldn't want
White
to
House
live in,
right now, he has his mansions.
I wouldn't
Uh,
want to live in the White House if I was the president anyway. I'd want to live someplace else.
yeah, I agree because I mean,
You know,
it really doesn't look that nice. Sure that it's nicer than what I have, obviously, but by all sense of purposes, you're restricted to what hallways you walk down because you might walk into a tour going through the White House or something like that. Oops, I'm sorry, the little kids. Yeah, I'm the president.
I think they do that. I think all presidents. I think all presidents do that on purpose. Trump was known for supposedly doing that.
Well, yeah, Trump's likes the attention.
You know,
Biden just likes the little kids. But
that's not the Jesus complex. Because of that song, Jesus loves the children, all the little children of the world. Maybe he thinks he's Jesus.
Oh God,
man! I know all my Christian viewers are gonna send me hate mail for that. And I didn't mean it.
Well, I mean, look, they're saying the same thing about Trump. They're making references to Trump being like Jesus and the savior of our nation, savior of the world. I mean, there's images of that going on too.
Yeah, but we don't know that Jesus didn't send Trump. There's no confirmation. I hope that. As other people call her, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when she has the press conference for the second coming of Jesus, I hope he speaks for himself. I hope he has the press conference and answers questions himself. But I was talking about that whole thing with people off a broadcast the other day where I said, you have to look at the whole role of Jesus the way I see it, and I only see it this way because I'm Jewish. But God decided that he was going to send his only son down to earth to straighten earth up and then come home.
Okay. And you froze.
With us, there we go. We're back. I don't know if it was a.
You froze there. I think God's telling you not to talk about his son.
No. God doesn't care about me talking about this. Matter of fact, it came to me from God. But
Okay.
God decided at some point that he was going to send his only son down to earth to straighten earth out as his representative and then come home. But he knew that he had to take Jesus and humanize him because humans on earth wouldn't believe that he was Jesus. So of course he picked a woman to give birth to his son. She raised him until it was time for him to do what he was sent here for. When he was done doing what he was sent here for, he was nailed to a cross, meaning the original capital punishment. He died on the cross, came back a couple of days later, so parole maybe, and then left and went home. And then I read a lot of other people on Facebook who try to get us to understand that what we see, we're just this big blob of energy connected to God, or just this big blob of energy floating around everywhere. And different members of that big blob of energy decided they had to see something in order to understand that it was actually happening. So what I see is different than what you see. But the point is that none of this in theory is really real. We come down, we're humanized, and when we're no longer needed to be humanized, we leave this shell. It's destroyed or retired, however you want to look at it. And then we return to this blob that we've been the whole time. Part of the reason why I brought up the Jesus thing was yesterday I was on a post that someone said we need Jesus more than ever or something like that. And I put even the Jews, and then she changed that to she took the we need Jesus part of the conversation out because I'm sure she is one of those that believes that the Jews aren't entitled to Jesus. I've said all along that the second coming will be when he's coming for everybody who didn't accept him the first time. And the Jews couldn't accept him the first time because we were slaves to the Roman Empire, and we were told what we were allowed to do and what we couldn't do. And when we thought our Savior or Messiah or whatever you want to call them was coming, the Pharaoh ordered every new Jewish male killed. So, to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't come yet, unless God decides that I'm the Messiah, and I hope that day never happens, because
we're in trouble. That is true.
It would be a kick in the face to a lot of broadcasters I know on Facebook. That if all of a sudden, Dave Glovin, the Messiah, Dave Glovin is on Facebook telling everybody he's the Messiah, and I'm already certified mentally insane anyway. So
I'm not sure which faith it is, but my mom, I know part of her relatives were Seventh-day Adventists. I do know that. Because when I was a little teeny kid, right? Just able to read, we drive to Maryland, where they lived, and we would visit for a while. And uh, the father gave me a bunch of little books to read on the way home because it's a couple hours drive home. And my dad in the mirror saw me with my head down. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading." I said, "What are you reading?" I said, "I'm reading what Uncle, wherever his name was, gave me." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Let me see those books." So he's driving, right? And he sees these books, and he looks at them, rolls down his window,
Yeah.
out the window they went. But at some point, my mom then got these paintings. I'm not sure, where she got them from again, because they kind of kept that part of the family a huge secret. But the paintings were all of, they believe that we came down, that the Savior is going to come down in this gigantic spaceship,
Mhm.
and he's going to pick everyone up that deserves to be picked up and then fly away. So all these different paintings were of the spaceship coming
Yeah.
down and people walking onto the ship and then
I said
flying away.
that on a post the other day. Someone had posted one of the what do you call it, chemtrails, and it was a big X, and everybody was commenting about the chemtrails. I put up it's a portal that the aliens want the Democrats to know that's where the mothership is coming to take them when it's time to go home. And you have to look throughout our existence that really isn't too far off. There were a lot of these preachers or crazy, whatever you want to call them, cult leaders that, this is, when it's time, the spaceship, what's his name? Scientology.
Yeah.
When it's time, the spaceships are going to come and take us home. Jim Jones, unfortunately, was a little more, I'm not sure that, you have to, when it's time, we're going to tell you to take a swig and we're all going to die. And my thought of that always would be that as a parent with children, I would be concerned that if I took my swig, then I made sure they all took their swig, that if I die first, or what if I die first and they spit it out?
I think in that situation that they had security details watching to make sure everybody takes their Kool-Aid.
Yeah, you weren't going to get out of there with. Yeah, but then when everybody's gone, including Jim, and the security detail is left, wouldn't he worry about whether or not they're all in this secure compound out in the middle of nowhere? Why wouldn't they just stay there and live?
You really have to be a true believer, first off, to believe that killing yourself is going to release your energy or whatever he was telling them to
they were going to go to heaven and be with God.
I was in the Air Force at that time when all the bodies were going to the Air Force base down there in Delaware. Dover Air Force Base, and it was around Christmas time when our command was having this party. It was at nighttime. I'm driving around, and I'm trying to find a stand party. The next thing I know, and to keep in mind, all these bodies are at the morgue there, and we were told about it. But all of a sudden, these damn emergency lights on two vehicles light me up, right? And I thought, shit, what did I do wrong? So I got out of my car and I started walking towards the one MP who had gotten out of his car. And I said, what did I do wrong? I'm just looking for a Christmas party. he cocked his damn gun and pointed at me. He said, first off, get back in your car. That's that shit. Okay, don't shoot me. But yeah, I mean, it was weird, having all those bodies there, and of course, obviously none of them obviously went to heaven. Uh,
We
but
all
I
know.
also do believe I'm a believer in spaceships, aliens, and life on other planets. I've always said there is no way that God created billions of planets and moons and suns and so forth, and only one planet he decides to put, so-called intelligent life on.
What if,
And
what if they all had intelligent life at one point and left that and came here? Because I've always said that, or I've heard of philosophy that Earth was the dumping station. Earth was the prison planet. Earth was where everybody they didn't want on the other planets was shipped to Earth. And maybe it was the dumping ground for whatever they didn't want on the other planets. Then eventually, if you subscribe to the Big Bang theory, every time there was a Big Bang, every time life had left another planet, maybe there was a Big Bang and Earth started again. And then it got to the point where now there's no other planets in our solar system. There's nobody else dumping. Well, they are dumping on Earth now because they're just dumping from one part of the Earth to another part of the Earth. At some point, there will be a Big Bang that will do one of two things. It will build a new Earth, but it will also bring life back to the other planets in our solar system. Plus, you got guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos with their space companies who believe that we can sustain life on other planets, and eventually that we may have to do that to save Earth for the maximum number of inhabitants it can have.
Okay. First off, Elon Musk, I think he's going to be the first guy, if he lives long enough, hopefully, to see his craft and his people land on Mars. I mean, that guy's got it going. Okay.
I could be mistaken, but didn't he already drop a Tesla on Mars?
Well, he didn't. Not.
No, I mean not drop it, but I mean he lowered it and landed on Mars. They've got tape that it landed on Mars, but I think his plan is to be the first person on Mars and to drive that Tesla.
He plans on building a city, there, and I think he's going to do it. I really think
over on the other side, you have Jeff Bezos with Blue Origins. I believe it's a similar goal, but I think he plans to land the first Amazon space fulfillment center on Mars.
I know. Isn't Muskie has a rocket ready to be launched here? It's already on the launch pad, ready to take off.
I understand it sits there and it's ready to go all the time. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, he at one time was doing all of NASA's stuff because we all know that back in the Obama administration, Obama said it's costing us too much money to build these one-time rockets and send them up. And these companies, these private space cowboys came up and started doing it themselves, and it was less. And we have the International Space Station up there, and Elon can send a supply ship up there that can automatically dock. It can be unloaded, and then poof, it can pull away and come home.
Yeah, I mean, initially when I first heard that our government has more or less shut down the funding for NASA, I thought that was a very bad move. But freeing it up to the individual companies to take over where the government left off was an excellent idea because competition always makes for a better deal because they're always trying to do something better and less money and so forth. And Elon Musk, which isn't the other guy that has his rocket ship looks like a dick? Well, I apologize about your word, but when it first came out, people were making fun of the shape of it, of his rocket because it went like a dildo or something.
I could have. It sounds like something that I would have said only because I'm so at times I'm so anti Jeff Bezos just because he became the wealthiest man in the world at the times that he was because of basically doing the same thing millions of Americans have done, but not done as well as he did, which was basically start an online company selling everything that people wanted.
But at the same time, I mean, because of what I do with history and genealogy and ancestry, I'm a big believer in the mom and pop shops. I mean, when I grew up in Mountainville, Pennsylvania, the way we as kids got money for our candy and our sugar fix, there was this candy store that was individually owned by this old man and his wife, and we would collect, soft drink bottles, glass bottles, and then take them to him, and then he would give us, pennies, for each bottle.
Penny candy.
Well, this guy, he gave us the pennies, and of course we turned around and we bought his candy. So the guy, it was a win-win for him,
Yeah.
But then he came up in these damn big supermarkets and forced the smaller guys to shut down, and all that personal, service and the owner knowing everybody's names and so forth went away, and I think we lost a big part of what the United States is all about. But look at what in Chicago right now with is it Walmart that's shutting down another
4 stores. But I've heard reports that they're doing that in other areas too.
Well, they're shutting
Bath
down.
and Beyond is a big chain. They're doing the same thing. They closed 4 or 6 stores here in Florida.
Well, you can't.
But they're gonna go online too. Walmart is probably doing it for the same reason. They're gonna close brick and mortar stores because there's just as many of their customers are ordering and picking it up at a store, or ordering and having it shipped to a store, ordering and picking it up at a store, or even ordering and having it delivered. Here in our area, Walmart's got a fleet of Ford Connect delivery vans that are electric. And
speaking of electric vehicles, did you see that Ford has put a computer in all their electric cars because they're so damn expensive? People aren't making their payments, and then when it comes time to repo, they're not getting the cars back.
Well,
So Ford's putting this computer thing inside the cars, so if you fall behind on your payments and refuse to return it, it drives itself back to the place where you bought it.
I heard one better, which was they lost in the first 3 months of 2023 $3 billion on their electric car division, that they ultimately decided that they would extract it from the actual fossil fuel line transportation division, spin it off to the side as a new startup investment, and go back to pumping out fossil fuel vehicles. And it was just a matter of time. Even in the case of, they claim the F-150 is the best-selling pickup truck in the world, and I can't imagine too many of these contractors that have F-150s that they've got a ton of contractor equipment and supplies in the bed of that truck, knowing that if you're doing it in an electric one, you're going to burn electricity just carrying that weight, that they're going to buy it.
Hey, it's Ray from the Patriots Lab. How you doing? You're looking royal there with your I would say gold, but it's blue. But your robe and your you need a cigar. One of the big stogies like this long, you know.
That robe, for anyone watching, that robe is available at the Patriots Lab and Patriots Lab Uncensored store. You can order it. More information is there.
And if you pay an extra charge, you'll get what it smells like cigarette smoke. So you feel like you're just like he's there right with you.
If you pay extra money on the inside pocket, you'll get, I think it was 3 or 4 of Ray's signature cigars.
There you go.
Okay, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody doing?
Actually, it's good afternoon. 4 minutes ago.
Well, it's morning somewhere
in the world. Good afternoon.
It's morning somewhere in the world.
Yeah. The train is
How you doing, Raymond?
I'm great. How you gentlemen doing today?
Good.
Doing good.
Hey, I'm
getting ready to mute you because the train is coming by.
That's okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen my new setup. I got to show it to you. I'm really proud of my new setup here. Let me get my camera here.
It's a beautiful shot of your ceiling.
So there's my main screen, okay? And that's my secondary screen. And there's my other screen. Woo. And then, of course, behind me, is my cat that's falling asleep. Whoops. Yep. But there's my coffee station. So finally got set up. Finally figured out what's wrong with my internet so I can start doing live broadcasts and actually have guests on without losing my signals.
I hear Randy's cat is coming up with her own signature cat food very soon.
Yeah, she's 19 years old.
And she's gonna do kitty genealogy.
There you go.
One day she's gonna take over Dad's business.
Oh, I don't know. She's 19 going on 20. I'm not sure how much more time she has left. I mean, she used to be really fluffy with the fur and so forth. But you pick her up now, and there's not much left. She's lost a lot of her muscle mass and so forth.
I don't think they need all that weight as they get older. Ours is 14, and she eats very little for a cat. We have a great tiger.
He's an actor.
It looks like Raymond's taking a piss on his porch.
Hey, we don't have to get
you're sitting a smile on your face.
We don't have to get that. We don't have to get that graphic. But Mr. Ray, you did come in, and I got to wrap up in about 20 minutes. So
what was you gentlemen talking about? I missed the whole conversation.
We were talking about spaceships, UFO, Elon Musk, electric cars, royalty. What's that noise?
We talked about genealogy. We talked about everything this morning.
What's that noise?
I told you there was the train going by this morning.
That's a train.
That's a train.
Y'all don't see train?
I see a train now out your window, but that's a weird sound.
Ray comes out every morning and he makes sure that he hears that train.
There you go.
Still highly toxic cars going through Tennessee.
Hey, with all the things going on with Norfolk Southern, I got to make sure, in case anything goes wrong, I'm right on the scene.
Yeah.
So how frequently does the train go past your house?
Oh God, we get about 4 or 5 a day.
Oh damn.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
And you're living there for free, right?
No.
Well,
ain't nothing in life for free.
That's the Rayfield Estate. He told me about that on the broadcast one day. That's the Rayfield Estate.
I used to live. I rent. I never got into buying a house, but the landlord is a real nice landlord. The house is really nice suburb area. He said, just so you know, there's railroad tracks behind your house, and it only comes by every so often. This is not a big thing. So my wife and I thought about it. Okay, we'll move in, right? 3 times a day. A train, like a 200-car train, would go past the back of our yard. And because we live right next to an intersection where cars go over the railroad tracks, this
Yeah.
guy has to blow his damn horn like a mile down the road and a mile past our house, and we could hear that horn the entire time he's blowing it. Drove me nuts.
We have one in the morning that does the same thing, but I think that's a
But
commuter train.
I like your latest work on the roof. I like that.
Hey, see, I'm right at an intersection.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's from his signature lattice collection that's available at the Victory Glass store. And for a nominal fee, he'll come in and charge it in person.
Are you about to get a storm? The storm go by with the clouds in the sky.
Say what?
The clouds in the sky. You get ready to have a storm? Or do you have a storm?
Yeah, we've had some wet weather. It's supposed to be just overcast today though.
All right,
I like
Mr.
your
Ray.
notebook.
All right, Mr.
You know,
Ray, I gotta give you 20 minutes to speak.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
at
All right,
12:30 I have to pull the plug.
All right, real quick. So, I've been thinking. My mind tends to go off into places every now and then.
Yep.
So it took me somewhere yesterday, and I'd like to know what you guys think about it. We have all of these unfortunate shootings that are taking place, and every time one of these events happen, you hear that they want to come for the assault rifles, the AR-15s, and things of that nature. But why is it the same powers to be will allow all of these rap videos to contain all of these assault rifles and all of these weapons? Now, these are the same people that own the studios and run the show at the end of the day. Why are they going to allow the black youth to come out? And these cats be having 10, 20 AR-15s in one video. And they know exactly the community they in. They know where the videos are being shot. The FBI have infiltrated these people. They know exactly what's up. So why aren't people standing up in outrage over that? Something that's happening every day. Something that's being pushed into the communities of the youth every day. Why aren't they standing up for that? Why does it take a white kid?
Could it be that maybe BLM and BLM was meant to be their law enforcement at some point in their plan, that we wouldn't have guns, only law enforcement would have guns, and perhaps BLM was going to be their law enforcement?
But this ain't got nothing to do with BLM. When I watch all these rap videos, these is young little black youth in the inner cities that ain't got nothing to do with BLM.
Okay.
So if they're coming for our guns, what about all of these guns that are with the gangs in California and Chicago? Are you just going to shoot it out with them and just eliminate them?
You just hit the nail on the head. You named 2 Democrat-controlled cities. Okay. Yeah. My belief is, and I totally agree with you. My son grew up listening to rap, and I did everything possible to keep that away from him. And we finally had a sit-down talk with the school counselors, and they said that I was wrong for taking that music away from my son. I said, do you understand what the words in these songs are? And I gave them some examples, and they said, nothing wrong with that. Give him his CDs back. Give him his music back.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
to address what you're saying about the black youth and their videos with all the weapons, they're not coming after them because I hate to say it, and Ray, I don't want you to to be angry about what I'm about to say, but this is what my belief is, that the black community, or I should say segments of the black community, are now at this point where they feel that the white people owe them something. And I think the Democrats are using the segments of the black community for their, like Dave was saying, their arm of enforcement. That's why you have the Black Lives Movement. That's why you have them destroying cities, and none of them have gone to jail. Plus, that's the fact that these videos are generating millions upon millions of dollars.
Right.
So if you, but I will say this: I did see a video where this guy went in. Two black guys went into the store, came out with all this goodies, right, and a whole shitload of money because they just robbed the place. And the guy is showing off his guns, right? Then the next video you see are the cops showing up and actually very carefully, disarming them. So because all these cameras looking at them, right? I think that the Democrat Socialist Party is using the segments of the black community to be their enforcement because they want to take the guns away from the police officers. They actually want to get rid of the police officers, okay, and have their own form of their own form of security, which is going to be members of the BLM,
the Chinese police.
What?
But you gotta remember, 90% of BLM is little young white punks. So that has nothing to do with the black community. We cannot put together the young black youth with BLM. They are whatever the media tries to push BLM to be. It does not consist of the black youth. No,
At
that
this
is
point,
totally
but
different.
when the ladies were talking about BLM, they were going after and trying to get society to accept that Black Lives Matter and that the United States of America typically has not taken care of Black lives in America. And granted, as far as I'm concerned, BLM was a scam because BLM scammed major corporations in the United States out of major money and didn't do anything that they said they were going to do with that money.
BLM. We first we have to understand one thing. When BLM started out, I can attest to the fact that yeah, it might have had maybe a majority of black people behind it, but once it was unveiled on what the BLM movement was all about, the main portion of black society that was backing them no longer backed them. You still had the leadership of the BLM movement that was still trying to hold everybody together. But once
Right.
everybody seen how that black woman was buying houses and all of the see black folk, they'll go along with you until they see them getting hustled. See that's one thing. Once they see the hustle, it's up. It's a wrap because that's one thing my people pride themselves on is not trying to be played and looking like a fool. So it might take a minute, but even if you look at the videos, any video from BLM, 80% of them people out there are young white punks. Like I said,
Right.
BLM was a movement that was hijacked. The face of it was black, but the movement as a whole was being perpetrated by the upper echelons of white society
Of
and
course.
the elites and the young punks they could pay to go out there and
But they had
perpetrate their agenda.
they had to do that because I believe because the alternative was to try to bring back the Klan, and that wasn't going to fly.
But my thing is the question. My question is very basic. For those who argue that every time that there is a shooting with a white kid, and then every time you turn around, they're talking about coming after the AR-15s. Where, putting everything else aside, where is that same energy when these videos are being put on TV daily of young black kids waving around 4, 5, 6 Mac 11s and 2, 3, and they got assorted. They come like damn Fruity Pebbles, assorted. They don't
Yeah.
just have one. They got some shit in there you can't even describe. You're like, what the hell is he holding? You don't even know. And they talk about AR-15, something that they can describe that's very easy, you know. But what is all of these different type of assault weapons that these kids are holding?
Let me ask you
None
this.
of them hold the same weapon. So
Let me
I'm
ask
like,
you this.
yo,
I know I've seen various reports over a few years where a black rapper gets shot down by another black rapper because one of his songs says something bad about the other guy. Do you think that these rap songs, these rap videos that they're showing their weapons are a way saying to the other rap groups, hey, I'm strapped, don't come after me. Do you think some of that
yeah,
visual is
that's
going
part of
on?
the culture. Yeah, that's part of the culture. I got more
Right.
guns than you. My guns are bigger than
Right.
you. I got more money than you. My girl's butt is bigger than your girl's, and that's the culture to outdo the
That's
next
the other
player.
thing.
Right.
What's a big butt? I'm
So
not a big butt kind of person.
that
I
that's
am.
you
I
say
am.
that's the culture, and it
I
is.
am.
But the culture.
I,
So that
hey,
I think
ain't nothing better than a big butt and a smile.
the answer to your question, why you're seeing it, and why you're seeing the role models that are doing it, is because again, if you're on with your posse, your crew, at your crib with every conceivable automatic rifle you can have, then the next person at their crib has got to make sure that they have more. But it's same with white America too, because people will say, if you've got one AR-15, why do you have to have 40 of them? If you got 40 of another one, why do you need to have 80 of them? I mean, I'm just throwing that out. Unfortunately, I do have to wrap up.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The days we living in?
I'm
I'm liable to have 15, 18 myself.
I
I mean,
understand that, but
and you got to have one for each corner of the window. And if you
I
live in a
believe that.
two-story
But the
house,
truth is that it doesn't matter to me which American is saying I got 40 of them, because then there's going to be another American that says, well, I got 80 of them. Then there's going to be another one who says, I got 120 of them. Because when America sees that somebody has more of something they want, they've got to go out and get more than that person has.
hey, you know what? You know what's funny? You ever seen the movie GI Joe
No,
Retaliation?
no.
Well, the president, right? He's sitting in there with all the presidents of the other country, right? And he's threatening them to all bow down to him, and they won't. So he brings out the nuclear launch code, right? And he presses the button for all of their countries, and it shows all of the nuclear weapons being loaded. And then all the other presidents have their people bring their briefcases forward, and they all launch theirs. So everybody missiles are in the air at the
Right.
same time.
But
And then when the U.S. president sees that the other countries aren't going to submit in midair, he presses the destruction code on the other on the nuclear missiles. So they look at him, and then what they do is, since they see him destroy his missiles, they go ahead and destroy their missiles. Well, what happens? Well, at that time, nobody has nuclear missiles. Well, he takes out this secret weapon that they've been building for the past 30 years. That's a supersonic nuclear weapon, and now has it aimed at all of the countries, and
yeah,
picks one country out as example, and just does a little example, and blows up a portion of it, and then they're all looking, they're stupid because now they're all looking defenseless, and he's
right.
already shown what he can do with the weapon that he's been preparing for 30 years. It's crazy. It was a tripped out movie.
But that's the thing. That's the thing in America. It's always going to be you want more than your neighbor has. I remember my dad was in the hospitality business, and he bought a Mercedes for himself and a Jag for my mom. All of a sudden, the doctor across the street, who never really had any interest in having a nice car, bought a Porsche for himself and something nice for his wife. The doctor next door to us wanted to buy a Mercedes for himself and something else for his wife, but his brother's a rabbi, and he said, no, you can't buy a Mercedes because of what they did to the Jews. So I don't remember what he bought for himself and his wife, but so it's that constant one up.
Real quick, Dave. I got one more since my time is short. And Randy, you're gonna love this one. You know, I've been talking about women being silent and how men, you know, we've been having to be the ones to defend women with all of these things going on. Randy, why did it take Bud Light? Why did it take a woman or transgender person to be sponsored by Bud Light to make women lose their damn mind? If y'all haven't noticed, women are standing up because they're saying this broad or whatever this person is making women look silly because of the way they act in that commercial with the spandex and everything, making women look like they're dumb.
The big reason is that he is, as I read this yesterday, he is
Mark Levane,
male. Okay,
he
is a man. Okay,
Right.
and he realized in our society right now that transgenders have a certain amount of power behind them. So he's first started out as being an adult female, okay, and doing his thing and getting the cosmetics and the lipstick and the tampon commercial and so forth. Then all of a sudden, he decided he is a preteen female, okay? And he's dressing like a little girl. He got his whole house done over like a little guy, all done in pink and like a little girl thing. And now he's acting like this preteen girl. And he's talking about sleepovers and things like that. But outrage now is the concern for biological preteen girls falling into this and having problems.
But Dylan didn't have anything to do with Bud Light making this change. He got hired
because of the outreach he has.
But he didn't have anything to do with AB InBev, which is the parent company of Anheuser-Busch. Dylan didn't have anything to do with them making the change. The lady in charge of marketing at Bud Light went to Bud Light and said, our sales are declining because Bud Light still is living with this outdated frat boy image, and we feel that we need to give it a new identity in order to continue saying. I'll find you the video, Will, and I'll bring it up.
I understand what you're saying, but it's just now come out that she was a pawn put in place. Listen, I'm always up on the actual and factual. I try to stay one step ahead. So what it is now you gotta and go look at the pictures, because she used to be one of those people. Go look at the frat pictures of her that has came out. So it's been discovered.
I've always said
she has been put in as the face. This is a ploy for Bud Light to try to look into the future. See, this is all Bud Light is playing the big game. They don't mind losing in the short game for the big game. If this, just think of it this way. How big of a beer would Bud Light be if in 10 years you had a certain segment of population that was transgenderism and Bud Light was the face of their beer?
See, I disagree because first off,
No, you got to remember it starts with the mindset first. If they
first off, the transgender population in the United States is only 1%. But I liked what I don't know if you guys saw the video of that. An African leader had a news conference with this guy, right? And the guy was asking this leader of this African nation questions and about about the United States, and this African nation has agreed to accept military and other help from China and Russia. And the guy said, "Why?" And he said, "The American government came to me with millions of dollars in aid, but only if we did something about the way we treat our people and be more accepting of the gay and transgender population in our country."
Oh yeah, Barack Obama did that.
But also,
He did that.
Also,
hold on, because there's not a lot of
How
time
do we get
left.
from Bud Light?
So he was saying that you give me 1,000 gay transgender people, put them on an island, and they give me 1,000 heterosexual men and women and put them on an island, go back in 10 years.
Yeah.
Those gays and transgenders are skeletons, whereas 1,000 men and women are going to be, 500,000
And
people.
South Africa, if you look at AB InBev, the parent company of Anheuser-Busch, they have a very large global operation in South Africa. So it's perfectly okay for them to do this. But they were losing money with Bud Light. They had to do something if they wanted to keep brewing.
They wasn't. Who are you listening to? Bud Light was one of the top 3 selling beers in the country. What are you talking about? They were not listening to
the marketing lady. The lady who's in charge of marketing said that they were losing money.
Right.
They had to reach out to the transgender population.
Guys, do you not understand? This is the same thing like DirecTV canceling Newsmax, saying that they were doing it for financial reasons when they were one of the leading people. Why do you think they put a woman in place to make this decision? You have to stop looking at the initial and start looking at what's behind it, bro. This lady was put here for this.
I have to cut us because I have to be off at 12:30.
Yeah, one last thing. Why did they fire the CEO?
Randy, I have to end it. So get a hold of Ray and continue going on, please. If you guys want to continue going on, I had to end at 12:30. I got something I have to go do.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Thanks, Randy. All right, folks. I'm sorry. It's going to get into an interesting, heated part of the conversation there, and because everybody has different views on how Bud did what they are doing, and everybody, I understand. So you'll continue to have that conversation going. They've lost $5 billion since they made this change, and if they're the largest or one of the largest brewing companies in the world. They've been around for hundreds of years, doing what they do. If they wanted to tank Bud Light to just get out of brewing Bud Light, there are millions of ways they could have done it. But anyway, I've got to wrap this up. Thank people for watching. Like I said in the live chat, if you want to make sure you come to the live producer screen before you come into my profile and watch, you got to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Give Facebook permission to use your StreamYard permission to use your Facebook profile and your picture in the live chats, or you watch on the Boogie with the Bull page, or you watch on the Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk group, or if you don't really want to mess around with any of that, go to Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and watch it there, and help grow the YouTube channel, because they seem to be being nice to me all of a sudden. So go there. Anyway, I got to wrap it up, and don't expect there will be another one before sometime Monday or Tuesday. So stick around. Use the groups on Facebook and everywhere else we're at. This is a part of the program where I say Boogie with the Bull is a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We own it all. That's all I'm going to tell you. Equal airtime is given to responsible parties with opposing views. You know what you got to do. You contact me, and we'll get it all scheduled, and it goes from there. So double V through victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end.